Bienvenidos al Vermú de Nanociencia, una actividad del Festival 10-9 que te acerca un poco más al mundo de lo nano. Este vídeo forma parte de la sexta y última semana del Vermú, dedicada a la biomedicina y la biotecnología. Contamos con la colaboración del Dr. Mufamadi, catedrático de investigación en la plataforma de nanomedicina de la Universidad Nelson Mandela. Steven nos hablará de los últimos avances en nanotecnología farmacéutica y nos contará su potencial para África. Thank you for being here, Steven. Si tienes cualquier duda o pregunta, déjala en los comentarios. La resolveremos el próximo viernes 3 de junio a las 12 del mediodía en la última mesa redonda de este Vermú de Nanociencia 2022. ¿Quieres un vermú? Tómalo con Nanociencia.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dr. Stephen Mufamadi. I'm a senior research chair at the DSI Mandela Nanomedicine Platform, which is part and parcel of Nelson Mandela University. Today I'm going to talk about the pharmaceutical nanotechnology, innovation, image manufacturing, technologies, and the opportunity for Africa. When we talk about nano, we actually talking about something quite very small. Nanotechnology is the study of very small structure. According to National Nanotechnology Initiative, the nanotechnology is the science and engineering technology conducted in nanoscale. We're talking about the atoms, the molecular level, which is 1 to 100 nanometer. So perhaps before we go ahead with the study, just defining some of the terminology. What is nanomedicine? Nanomedicine is a medical application of nanotechnology, while the pharmaceutical nanotechnology is the application of nanotechnology in pharmaceutics. My main focus on the presentation today, I'm going to be focusing on the issue around the Sustainable Development Goals, but the main focus will be on health, with the issue that the health play a big role in terms of ensuring that healthy life, promoting well-being of all at all ages. And this goal is providing access, focusing on providing access to affordable and essential medicine and vaccine for all. I'll be talking about some of the development nanotechnology in those areas and showing how nanotechnology can actually benefit a lot when it comes to goal number 3. The things that I also like a lot about when we talk about nanotechnology, I like the structure of nanomaterials or nanoparticles as such. But nanoparticles, nanomaterial that normally comes in a size of 1 to 100 nanometer. They can engineer them using different types of materials, such as lipids, polymers, hydrogel, metallic metals, carbon nanotubes, and many others. And the also advantage of nano is that you can make them come with a different type of shapes. Can be sphere shape, plate, tube, star, and rod. And you can be able to also to surface functionalize it with a some polyethylene glycol, or you can also coat them with a different type of other polymer materials, or you can also have engineered them with surface functional groups. And also, you can also engineer them with a surface charge, like positive and negative, and also can be engineered with the targeting ligand, which means you're incorporating targeting ligands such as antibody, peptide, and aptamers. The size of nanoscale is quite a small size. To be honest with you, we're talking about a very tiny size. A 1 nanometer is the same as 1 billionth of a meter, 10 to the power minus meter. To also just give example of this, you can see a human DNA is about 2 nanometer, but the virus about 80 to 115 nanometer. Quite small size that we cannot even see with our own eyes. And, for you to learn more about this, you need to use things like microscopy. You can also see the bacteria at 200 nanometer. A human hair is about 100 microns. And also can see the end, which is about 200 millimeter, and the humans with 1.8. As human in terms of height, we are ranged between 1.5 to 1.8 meter. So when we're talking about nano, we're talking about something very quite small. It's something the size of a virus, COVID virus as such. There are actually different type of approach to manufacture nanomaterials. You can use the tube approach, which are top-down approach. Top-down approach is from which there is something with a bulk, and then from bulk to fragment and nanostructure. While you can have bottom-up approach, where you basically start with the atoms and cluster them and become nanostructures, form nanostructures. The nanomedicine have been used for many other benefits. Some of them is used for therapeutics, diagnostic, early detection, rapid diagnosis. Diagnostic, which combination of therapy and diagnosis, one things. We've seen there's a lot of success recently of vaccines, nanovaccine, adjuvant, disinfectant, and personalized medicine. There are many other diseases that nanotechnology have shown impact, contribute a lot for both communicable and non-communicable disease. We've seen a lot of success in COVID vaccine, a lot of development that are coming in HIV, tuberculosis, cancer, malaria, and Ebola. In African perspective, we know that there are many other diseases that are still affecting African countries, such as which are the neglected tropical disease in sub-Saharan Africa, where we know the hookworm infection, trachoma, yellow fever, leprosy, buruli, ulcer, human African trypanosis, and many others that are still a big challenge in Africa. We believe technology like this should also be used to target those areas where a dominant of this disease is still a big challenge in Africa. In pharmaceutics, we really see a lot of benefit of these nanomaterials, where materials like liposomes, they are shown to be used as vehicles. Lipid nanoparticles also play vehicles. We've also seen some more recently development in metallic nanomaterials, where they can play a role of vehicles and antimicrobial activity, imaging, and with the benefit that all these nanomaterials have added value in pharmaceutics by improving drug solubility, bioavailability, delivering to the various side of actions, enhancing biodistribution, therapeutic, and reducing toxicity, and improve patient compliance, including cost. Nanotechnology is shown to have other benefits like reducing the cost of these drugs. And when it comes to nanotechnology innovation, we really see the development of nanotechnology since 1964 with the discovery of liposomes. It was only recently, or it was only 1995, where the FDA approved the nanodrugs, which in this case is Doxel. The Doxel was actually engineered using polyethylene glycol or pegylated liposome encapsulated with the doxorubicin. And the treatment was then 1995 the focus was on a HIV/AIDS related sarcoma. So far, this Doxel is being used for many other types of cancer. Some of them are breast cancer, bladder cancer, lymphoma, acute lymphocytic leukemia. Some of the recent development in pharmaceutical nanotechnology is the recent approval of RNA interference, which was I think was approved in 2018 by both FDA and EMI, which is European regulatory authorities. They approve a patisiran or on patro, which is basically was engineered using a lipid nanoparticle with a small interference RNA, and shown that it has shown to have effect or able to treat the disease such as polyneuropathy, mediated myelodisis. And this is some of the success we've seen with the messenger RNA. I think this success of RNA interference or small interference have opened a lot of room of using these materials in terms of delivering of messenger RNA or DNA. I think this paved a lot of role in terms of research and development that we know in the vaccine, particularly Moderna and Pfizer. There are actually many nanodrugs or nanoproducts that are in the commercial or approved by FDA. If we were to just estimate, I think that around about 62 I'm not mistaken, 62 approved nano-based drugs and vaccines that are already approved with FDA. So you can really see here the many of them. We can see the deoxyribonucleic polyribosome. We really see not only for cancer, although we know majority of nanotechnology-based therapy or formulations are normally used for cancer, but we can really see that some of them play a role into some of these influenza vaccines. Now, we already know in COVID-19 vaccine also, multi-sclerosis. We can also see some of them with fungal infections, liver spleen issues. We can really see also the formulation is not only about the materials that are used for nanocarrier, liposome, some of them are inorganic nanomaterials, such as iron oxide. You can see some are polymeric nanomaterials that are used, and you can also see some nanocrystals, and which were used for disease such as in terms of ocular disease or ocular histoplasmosis, myopia, and many other diseases. You can really see the success in a lot of commercial drugs that are used, engineered using the nanomaterials. Recently, we've seen the success of using these nanotechnology-based vaccines, where we've seen the messenger nanotech-based COVID-19 vaccines, engineered by the Pfizer and Moderna, which is currently used by many other countries and approved, and all over the world, these vaccines are used. And we already see some of them, some are still in the pipeline, the DNA nanotech-based vaccines, and we'll already see some of the recombinant protein nanotech COVID vaccines, where we already see this was engineered usually by Nanovex, and some of the countries already starting approving them, like Indonesia first approved Nanovex COVID vaccine in November 2021. You can read most of this information that I personally published by me. You can read from one of the articles that I published in Cambridge University Press or Laboratory News. You can look at some of my detail about how this vaccine really works, nanotech vaccine really works, or engineered using this nanotechnology. For me, another exciting story to talk about, I feel like is very important to show that although nanotechnology is still in early days in Africa, but we really welcome the new development when we're seeing WHO establishing the messenger RNA vaccine technology hub, which is based in Africa, in particular in South Africa, where the main mandate or objective of technology transfer hub is to build capacity in the low and middle income countries to produce messenger vaccine through the Center of Excellence and Training. We've seen a lot of collaboration within WHO in South Africa. We see also a BioVac, African MRC, and many other private companies such as Afrigen, that are collaborating, including some of the universities that are participating in this development of messenger RNA vaccine. We can see the success that is also development of this messenger RNA vaccine happening in other part of Africa. We can see here the Moderna pledging for establishing this type of facility in Kenya with investment about $500 million, with the aim to produce more than 500 million vaccine doses per year for COVID, and also to look at establishing other areas where this vaccine could really work, in the area like cancer and many others. According to WHO, there are about 6 African countries, which South Africa, Kenya, Nigeria, Egypt, Senegal, and Tunisia, which that will be the first in the continent to receive technology need to produce their own messenger RNA vaccine. The aim here is to end reliance of African country on vaccine manufacturing outside the continent, which is this exciting news. We believe that this will open many other opportunities for development for many other vaccines, not only for COVID. The recent collaboration of success or establishment of a center to fast-tracking new antibiotic discovery as drug resistance rises. We believe this is the relationship between a University of Cape Town and Johnson Johnson could also open another platform where Africa could could use showing actually it's opening opportunity to show that Africa now are trusted by big pharma, able to produce or to innovate some of the latest drugs that could be developed in Africa. So we think this is a great development for seeing such kind of big pharma getting involved in African development in pharmaceutics. Another development in nanotechnology with this plant-based synthesis, where we're using metallic materials, using such as with the plant extract from liver, seeds, and many stems and roots, where you can formulate this material with one single step. And the advantage about this synthesis is that you can engineer or you can produce material that are biocompatible, low cost, with a good stability, safe, non-toxic byproducts, environmental friendly, and easy to scale for a large scale synthesis, which some good advantages. We can also see the advantage of emerging manufacturing technologies. I will talk all about this too. There are many others, but I'm just going to focus on microfluidic technology and 3D printing. These technology, they are opening a big opportunity for Africa to be able to establish their own pharma, manufacturing their own medicine, so which are with a single step synthesis, short-term consumer synthesis, controlled particle formulation, reproducible, enhancing drug encapsulation for both regularly for hydrophobic drugs that are not normally soluble in water, and able to achieve rapid prototype and environmental friendly kind of productions and benchmark portable scales manufacturing, where it can play a role of in terms of producing personal medicine in any way, and with cutting cost of having a big investment for building infrastructure, where we just need a bench to working on formulation in this. And some of these technologies, they don't require a big qualified person, even that person, even a basic science qualified person that can play a role in terms of operating this instrument and facilitate the manufacturing. However, although this technology or this manufacturing technology, they've got many other benefits, they do also have some disadvantages. Some of them are very expensive. They require a lot of energy, where in Africa we know energy is still one of the big challenges, particularly in South Africa, where energy or electricity is one of the biggest challenge. So this is some of the challenge, and also the issue that some instrument, although it will benefit Africa, majority of these they are manufactured international. We can see European, Asia, and China's. The Europe, USA, Europe, and China being the manufacturer of most of these machines. Another challenge of this machine, because they're automated, they normally affect in terms of job creations. A lot of people lose jobs because instead of having 100 people, we can only have one person, or technician as such, operate machine and make production quicker and faster. We believe that this opportunity, Africa must look at the opportunity of this development. Otherwise, Africa cannot afford to be playing a waiting game for each medical intervention from developing country. Each time they have got an outbreak or pandemic. So African countries need to grab the current opportunity that emerging manufacturing technology offers, and start manufacturing nanomedicine that is specific to them at low cost using either microfluidic, nano scale 3D printing. African countries need to take advantage of the existing international partnership. We believe this establishment of international collaboration with Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson, and to allow manufacturing occurring within an African continent should be a great opportunity for Africa in order for them to produce or innovate their own nanomedicine. African nanoscience need to dominate in green synthesis for the nanopharmaceutics and manufacturing, employing plant-based nano approach, since they have got abundant. They are in Africa, an African country, majority of African country or Africa country, they've got an abundant medicinal plant that can be employed for nanoparticle synthesis. And then with also the recent success of approval of this nano vaccine, we believe this will create a lot of opportunity for African people to look at the issue of commercialization of their own medicine, and also improve regulation in nanoscience. Some of my reference, and thank you.